At 10, violent drug cartels keeping your favorite food off the table. For now, the U.S. is stopping avocado imports from Mexico.
Tonight, the DEA is offering $10 million for information leading to the arrest of the Mexican drug kingpin known as El Mencho.
The Jalisco New Generation Cartel took the fight to the next level, shooting down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade.
More than a dozen cartels are actually fighting for control of the avocado trade, preying on wealthy orchard owners, the laborers who pick the fruit, and the drivers who truck it north to the United States.
Today, we are talking about the complex challenges facing Michoacan's avocado industry. A holistic and forward-looking strategy is imperative to safeguard the well-being of farmers and the region's future. The cartels in and around Uruapan are clearing protected woodlands to establish avocado groves, referred to by locals as green gold. Over a dozen cartels are currently engaged in a violent struggle for dominance in the avocado trade, targeting affluent orchard owners, fruit pickers, and truck drivers responsible for transporting avocados to the United States. The love for avocados among Americans has significantly driven up imports from Mexico, soaring from 1.2 billion pounds in 2012 to 2.8 billion pounds. In monetary terms, the value of avocado imports to the United States surpassed $4 billion in 2023 for the first time. In the past, the flourishing avocado industry prompted both activists and YouTubers to highlight the environmental concerns related to the extensive land and water usage by avocado farmers. However, a more sinister revelation is emerging in Mexico, where avocados are increasingly linked to the involvement of violent cartels. Unfortunately, it appears that there is a lack of effective intervention to address this issue. Back in the 90s, the United States took a stance against Mexico's avocados by imposing a prohibition.
The U.S. government has suspended all imports of Mexican avocados after a U.S. plant safety inspector in Mexico received a threat, as the Super Bowl is one of the biggest sales opportunities of the year for Mexican avocado growers. We have already seen,
which remained in effect until the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, was established in 1994. Leading up to NAFTA, Mexico faced a severe debt crisis throughout the preceding decade, reaching its peak in the second half of the 1980s. The country's debt to GDP ratio was alarmingly high, with external debt reaching nearly 60% of the nation's GDP by the late 1980s.
The United States has a lot at stake in Mexico.
Witnessing both an ally in need and a potential advantage, the United States intervened to assist Mexico, but it came with a condition. Mexico was required to reduce government regulations and adopt a more open approach to free market capitalism. This had the unintended consequence of diminishing the financial resources of many Mexican federal institutions, inadvertently strengthening one of the emerging threats in Mexico.
Today, the United States is being repaid more than 3 years ahead of schedule. We have earned more than $500 million on our loan. Our exports to Mexico are at an all-time high, and the Mexican economy is back on track.
As funds flowed into Mexico and its trade connections with the United States developed, the influence of the growing cartel extended beyond criminal activities. The cartel began infiltrating political circles and local law enforcement agencies in Mexico.
It is a part of what I think ought to be our overall mission, which is to give our children a safe, wholesome, constructive upbringing that begins with a drug-free life, appropriate health care, safe streets, and a decent education. We'll be looking at certification on counter-narcotics operations. We are committed to cooperating with our friends in Latin America. That's one of the reasons why I asked Mac McClarty to be my special envoy to the Americas. We want to cooperate with them, but we want them to cooperate with us as well. We want to reduce our demand for drugs, but we are determined to reduce the supply.
As the drug trade expanded over the following years, both the U.S. and Mexican governments increased their substantial investments in combating it. With mounting pressure on the cartels, they acknowledged the necessity to diversify into legal industries. Their latest enterprise became the lucrative avocado business, often referred to as the green gold mine. The Michoacán region in Mexico, renowned for its fertile soil and favorable climate, holds the distinction of being the world's leading producer of avocados. This thriving avocado industry plays a vital role in the nation's economy, providing jobs for over 400,000 people in the region. Since 2001, there has been a threefold increase in avocado consumption in the United States, catalyzing significant economic growth in Michoacán. Initially, the surge in demand brought prosperity and employment opportunities to local communities. However, as the success of the industry attracted the attention of Mexican cartels, these criminal groups resorted to extortion and forcefully took control of avocado farms. Faced with such threats, some avocado farmers in Michoacán have responded by forming self-defense vigilante groups to protect their livelihoods.
Locals here are becoming so fed up with the violence, they've actually started forming their own vigilante groups, like these guys. These aren't trained security personnel, they're actually avocado farmers, and they conduct patrols like this every day.
Engaged in direct confrontation with the cartels, these groups find themselves in intense and often brutal conflicts. The severity of these clashes is vividly depicted in the first-hand accounts of affected farmers who characterize the situation as both dire and devastating.
It's so hard for me to wrap my head around that the protection is all because you are growing this delicious fruit.
Así es, porque
if you're doing well, they kill you or disappear you, or they come and pull you and your family out of your house. And they take away your orchard, and they cultivate it and take all the money.
Within the intricate landscape of Mexico's avocado industry, numerous farmers find themselves compelled to enter agreements with different factions of rival cartels. In a setting where the options are to align with the cartels or face potential harm, these farmers pay for protection. The imposition of protection fees by cartels has fundamentally altered the economics of avocado farming, placing farmers in a dilemma where a significant portion of their profits is diverted to cartels. This not only reduces their economic gains, but also heightens the risks associated with entering the industry. Moreover, it hampers the central government's ability to effectively tax one of Mexico's most lucrative industries. The conventional economic calculations of risk and reward are now overshadowed by the looming threat of violence. Farmers are compelled to factor in not only market variables, such as price and demand, but also the costs associated with cartel demands and the risks linked to non-compliance. However, the surging popularity of avocados in North America has led to increased prices, further exacerbating the situation in Mexico. The elevated prices translate to greater profits, escalating the stakes for both farmers and cartels. The new Generation Cartel, or CJNG, established in 2009, stands out as one of the most formidable and violent criminal organizations in contemporary Mexico, with thousands of civilian casualties attributed to their actions. The influence of the CJNG is not limited to remote regions. Their involvement in the avocado trade extends beyond the immediate impact on farmers. Even the political landscape in CJNG-controlled areas is significantly distorted, leaving citizens with few viable options to oppose the cartel's rule. The assassination of over 130 political figures leading up to Mexico's 2018 election underscores the profound threat posed by the CJNG to the nation's political stability.
You are a very powerful organization, powerful with lots of money and lots of weapons. What is this weapon here?
It's a 40-millimeter grenade launcher. This is modern warfare. We use war technologies. We use drones. Here, everybody is adequately trained.
As per Insight Crime Mexico recorded a murder rate of 25.2 homicides per 100,000 people in 2022. Forecasts for 2023 project an increase to 28.4, making it the fourth highest murder rate globally, surpassed only by Jamaica, Honduras, and South Africa. When considering the size of Mexico's population, the magnitude of violence in the country becomes unprecedented, distinguishing it from any other place in the world.
Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, CJNG, is the single criminal organization most responsible for these deaths on both sides of the border.
The intertwining of cartel influence and market dynamics in Michoacan's avocado industry creates an intricate and demanding situation for governance. Addressing these issues necessitates a comprehensive approach that looks beyond just the immediate economic consequences, taking into account the long-term sustainability and security of the region. Although a definitive solution is not evident at the moment, the least we can collectively do is raise awareness about the escalating violence surrounding one of our most cherished fruits.